Can I?
Oh, there's Craig. Hi, all you beautiful people. It's wonderful to see you all on God Talk tonight. This
There he
is
is.
February 26th, and yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Taos. I hope it's beautiful where you are. And we are going to start with our icebreaker question and our introductions, the name you want to be called, your pronouns.
Okay.
And Leo's going to give us the icebreaker question.
Me, I go cook.
You can go after Leo and Jared.
Yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Leo. Pronouns he, him. Today's question is, what makes you feel safe? For me, it would be comfort food, like apple pie. That's what makes me feel safe. Comfort food. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jared. My pronouns are he, she, they, them, she, sure, these, any pronoun. And what makes me feel safe is really just hugs. You know, hugs are great.
You do love hugs.
Yes.
I love that answer. Okay, Marco.
Make I go get
Yes, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Go here, Mario. Marco get here. Come on, come on. Mom.
Your arm, because I hurt you, but what were you said that I make you feel safe. Is that still true?
Yeah, mama, get me.
Even though I ran into your hand. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm Carol, she, her. And yeah, I like everybody's answers that they've had. My dad always made me feel safe. And and he was he did work with tornadoes, and so he was called the father of the safe room. So I think that was part of his personality, was making people feel safe. But since he's gone, I guess I'm gonna say that prayer makes me feel safe. Just recognizing God's presence with me
Okay.
makes me feel safe.
Oh, God.
Okay,
God.
George.
Hi, I'm George. Any pronoun will fit me. And then some. God makes me feel safe. Just like you, Carol. God, just believing in God and having God around me makes me feel safe because He'll keep me safe.
Thank you. Okay, Suzette.
Hi, I'm Suzette, she, her, and there's a lot of things that make me feel safe, but I think it's my family, my immediate family that makes me feel safe and my church family, because I think I feel uplifted when I don't feel strong and when I feel weak and I need help. My family's always there for me, so my family makes me feel safe.
Nice. I should have said Instagirl instead of Suzette.
There's a story behind that.
Okay, Janice.
Oh, you're on mute, Janice.
Thank you, Leo. My name is Janice. She, her. Of course, God does, and also like Suzette, my daughter and my grandkids.
And your dog.
Well, yes. Cash
Okay.
is okay. Cash is okay.
I still can't believe your dog's name is Cash. It's just
I know, right?
I'll have a
So
connection.
it's always easy to remember his name, Suzette.
uh-huh.
Okay, Gregor.
I'm Kreger, he, they, and I would say that considering what I've been through with my family with 2 heart attacks and deaths at the age of 62, that movement makes me feel safe. So I feel good when I'm outside walking or riding my bicycle, trying to make sure that I'm taking steps to keep my heart beating as long as possible because there's a lot of love in there that needs to come out yet.
Oh, nice. That's very nice. Oh, okay. So, um, just a reminder that I've put some of our guidelines as well as some information about racial equity principles in our chat, and we're just. I would like to start out talking about some of the good anti-racism things that we've accomplished, or the ideas that just the good things that we've come up with at the church. And one of the things that really stands out for me is the collective liberation workshop. So that's one of the things that stands out to me that we were able to accomplish. I know there's a lot of discouragement that some people are feeling these days, but I'd like to start out focusing on some of the positive things. Kreger?
Jacob, I better
I
go.
do not see anything in the chat. I don't know if I'm not looking in the right place, but the chat is blank. So, but today I finished How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kinsey. So, I think it took me about maybe 3 weeks or so to listen because I listen to books. I don't, and I think, if I had my way, it would be in the curriculum in every high school in this country. I think it's something. Oh, and so during work this week, during our team huddle, we have this thing called 5 minutes of fun. And so it was someone else's turn to play, and they wanted to play two truths and a lie. So I said, so when it got to be my turn, I said, well, I'm going to do a spiritual theme. So here goes. I said, I've been through the entire New Testament so far in 2026. I'm currently reading looking at How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi. And every day I set aside 15 minutes from 4:30 in the afternoon until 4:45 for silent meditation and prayer. And my coworker, Eric, right off the bat goes, number 3 is the lie. And I was like, you were right. But anyway, so that brought forth some team discussion about the book by Ibram. And so my boss wrote down the title, and she has committed to buying it and reading it as well. So it begins.
Nice. That's a really good book. Okay, Suzette.
Yeah, go.
As I reflect on the conversation of racism, I think the umbrella conversation around the whole thing is abuse of power. So people who are using race and any other cultural, is it nomiker, a word for that, is the desire to not just not lead at all, but to be powerful over someone else. So it has been a much, much more broad and diverse thought in my brain about the conversation of racism. I think because I think our government has made racism a bad word. It is a bad word, but having conversations around acknowledgments and having conversations about what racism is just a piece of the pie, and we have so much work to do. as a church, as a people, as a country, as a congregation. We have so much work to do, and I'm so honored to be within this group who takes that conversation and immerses themselves in the conversation and wants it to come full circle. I don't think there's anybody here who's using racism as a power play or using racism as a negative conversation. This is all about how we all get along. How do we get along and what does that look like as a church? So
Yes, I think you're exactly right. And yes, our in this country, it's been just any mention of any words that have to do with what you might call being woke seems to just be squashed and asked not to talk about. And I think as Christians, I think we're called to stay in right relationship, even when it's hard, and um, even when we disagree. And I think that this group has demonstrated, just in God Talk itself, as well as in some of the broader conversations. I believe this group has demonstrated that. And um, uh, Jared and Leo, I want to hold you guys up particularly because because I think you were one of the first voices to be heard saying, "Hey, this is a problem," and you had a choice of um, staying and continuing that conversation, or just saying, "Hey, we're done with this." And you guys chose to stay both in this group and stay in the conversation, even just within this group. And and then this beautiful organic, sorry, I keep putting my hand over your face, Marco. This beautiful collective grew out of that. And just the fact that that group in itself it just grew organically with the stated from the beginning that we're not a hierarchical structure, that we're sharing power, that we're sharing ideas. We're all here just to just to work for the good of the people is just a beautiful thing. So presence is huge. And I know not everybody can stay for the fight. I'm not cutting down anybody that has left by any means at all. But because we all have different needs, we all have different callings, and sometimes we can't stay without just destroying a piece of our souls or our families or our humanity. But those who have stayed and stayed in relationship are that's huge. The work can't go on without that. Jared and Leo.
I'm reminded of what Lily said whenever she was doing her wonderful ministry moment, right? Where, we once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, had, done so much outreach, right, into different ministries, right, like the ministry in the Philippines that stands up, where we really did our best to fund so many different causes outside of us, And we collaborated with community partners in ways that were much more healing. And the history of this church is so rich with examples of um, active work. I remember when we were brave enough to post Black Lives Matter on signs on our fences, and then people would get would tear it down, and then people would put it back up, and then people would tear it down, and we, all the while, the media is covering it and giving us more fans, and also giving us more hate groups, which also brings us more fans, which is because it's free advertising. And we have so much rich history. I often find, and in regards to what you just said, Carol, it's like I say, in companies and countries, there are usually three huge stages whenever it comes to this work. So there's first this stage where the power structure gets a little bit uncomfortable, right? And it may lock up, it may push, it may do all the things that happen, right, whenever change is suggested, right? Because it's like the accusation that, is it because I'm wrong? Is it because I did something wrong? And it might not be. It just might not be, current, right? And then there is, if untreated, the great exodus that happens, right, where many people leave, right, just like this country, just like in every space, right? And then after that, either the company, the country, has either a revolution where it decides to change things, right, in order to give space for all the voices, for all the people, that it is not compatible with, right? Or it crumbles and is, usually hostilely taken over by another country, company, whatever, right? Or some other space, right? And I think a lot of this work in this church tends to move towards a revival of its old values, right? I really hope that that's the case, though. I really hope that that's the case, and I hope that that's the case for this country as well. Like what I see, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but what I see happening in MCC, RMCC, right, both of them, right, is just a microcosm of what's happening in America. And so, I really hope that either or both can move towards change rather than, the other option.
I hope so too. And I haven't rewritten the description for God Talk, but we've talked about how I would really like collective liberation, for lack of a better term. I think that's a nice umbrella term, and it may not be specific enough for some purposes, but it's a nice overarching term that I think includes a lot. And I just really want that to be infused in all of my ministries, particularly here in God Talk, and I just want to keep that momentum forward. And I was just recently going back to the beginnings of God Talk, and how we Suzette and I were talking with Reverend Denise Junius, and just really trying to find that niche that I felt like I could get excited about. And all of you have just been so lovely to come along for the ride, it's been so interesting, all the things that we've talked about. And it's real easy for me sometimes to can I finish? To address to get scared and angry, and when I feel that people I love and the ministries that I care about are threatened. And I really was able to come into this space tonight thanks to a mentor just really sitting me down and saying, just remember what your calling is. And yeah, I don't have the need to leave, or and I do think that sometimes we need to call out injustice, and that's the beginning of this work. And staying present and staying loving um, is key to everything. Suzette, do you have a copy of the core values of the church that you could put in the chat?
Yeah, let me get them.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I don't see any other hands raised, so I'll just kind of keep talking. I've the the group that meets on Friday nights has been called different things. The latest, I think, has been the Anti-Discrimination Steering Committee, and maybe just the title itself ruffled some feathers, challenged some power structures. but I just have found that to be a huge blessing. And some of the things that I think are excellent about the group are the way that it just kind of came up organically, and people said, I think I have something to contribute, and people just kind of came together without a big power structure or anything, no necessary hierarchy or anything, and people just shared ideas. And I don't think the collective liberation workshop would have happened without that. And there are some more, and then the citywide workshops through the Center for Healing Racism are still to come, and I hope that will have some impact. And I know there are some challenges to that as well, but I don't think it's. I just want to say that the group coming together in love and supporting each other and sharing ideas is a beautiful thing. That's where I'm going to stop that particular comment. Jared and Leo.
Yeah, I keep hearing the word fear, but it's like the saying goes, you fear that which you don't know. And I think for me and my husband, like what has like I don't know how to put this in words, like basically we came into the church with like open minds, open hearts, and we got to know so many people. And I think that building community is so important because we can sit around all day long and say we fear this group of people, we fear this person, or or we thought that this person was this or whatever. But how many of us do we actually approach someone and really get to know them? I mean, I'm autistic. I would like to say antisocial, not very people, I guess, I don't like to socialize basically a lot. And it's good that I force myself to do it because it's like I would have never met Larry, you know?
Larry's so cool.
Yeah, I would have never met Larry. I would have never met who else that is always sits kind of far. Like, all the beautiful people that I force myself to say hi to get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that we all do that at the church. And I think that that's one thing that probably I would like to see change or more of. It's just building community and actually getting to know each other. Because there's really nothing scary about Leo and Jared.
That's thank you. Suzette, I think that's a good segue into, would you read or I mean say what you raised your hand to say, but then would you read one of the core values? Why don't you start with the community one when you're ready?
Okay. I just wanted to make a funny real quick about if I'm gonna know people in the back rows, I might have to crawl over a pew or two. So anyway, I put the link in the chat as well as a screenshot of inclusion. Um, Love is our greatest moral value. Inclusion is a primary focus of our ministry. We believe that all people as they are and where they are should be welcomed at God's table.
Okay, let's stop there and talk about that one. Because that's yeah, that I mean that's what anti-racism is all about, right? It's about inclusion and safe space. Um, and okay. Um, I'm talking too much. So let Krager.
I would agree with what Leo said, and it's been my experience. Started going to Resurrection in the late 1990s, but and I didn't become a member until 2009, but after Tropical Storm Allison and everything flooded out that first time, I quit going. I lost my car in that flood, and it was just too painful to go to the church that had flooded out. So I stopped going for a long time. But when I came back, I found that the Wednesday night group that was always in person at the time, it started with Reverend Kristen Klein Ceccanini, and then it was Reverend Vicki Gibbs. Then at COVID, it came on Zoom, and the brunch buddies, and that's where the real get to knowing people occurred for me. Because when you're tackling these tough subjects like one of them that we did with Reverend Vicky was lynching and all of this, and so you're in a room maybe with 15 to 25 people. That's where the real intimacy begins, and that's when you really get to know people. It's just so much more than that. Hey, you walk into church on 10 minutes before service. Hi, how are you? Oh, good, good. Yeah, you know. So to me, the groups like this is where the real intimacy has always been. The 12 o'clock devotional prayer group, the brunch buddies, now virtual brunch buddies. I'm like, that's just basically a check-in group. Carol has come, and really there is no subject that is untalkable on Brunch Buddies Virtual. I mean, we have really had some deep, intimate, heartbreaking conversations about each other's lives and pain and joys and everything. So I think one of the ways resurrection can heal is to get more people into spaces like this. I don't know maybe what do you call it? Affinity groups, um, where these deeper relationships can be built and deeper conversations like ones that need to be had regarding how to be an anti-racist can occur.
Oh, I was muted. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
Okay, so I think we've been talking about some of the values of community, and I think both the persons and the groups represented on this call tonight have been really committed to community. I'll just read this part. Our deep desire is to offer a safe and open community for people to worship, learn, share, and grow in their faith. We are committed to equipping ourselves and each other to do the work that God has called us to do in the world. And, sometimes equipping each other is not always comfortable. Sometimes people like me need to be called out on something that was hurtful or could have been done better. And I think that the members of this group, I think that's part of the reason that I see you showing up when you do and where you do, not just in this group, but in the other groups that you're all involved in, is that you are committed to your own transformation as well as the growth of others around you. You're willing to learn, you're willing to grow, and yeah, and I also think that's what the Friday night group represents as well. So I think it's really easy to say, yes, we represent the core values of the church, each of us as individuals and each of the groups that we're all involved in. Any disagreement there?
I think they could go a little bit further under justice and where it says, we are committed to uplifting all people and standing with those who suffer under the weight of oppressive systems. It should say, or could say, under the weight of racism and oppressive systems. If there's one thing that Ibram drives home in the book is that you've got to name it. You can't heal from it if you won't say it. And so in this value, none of these value statements actually say the word racism, and that word needs to be in there. Otherwise,
Okay,
especially the white people will just, stay in denial, and you got to name it first. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that I think there were some suggestions for changing some of the wording, particularly for mission and vision statements, and it has been decided by the church that will wait until
Till Craig is dead.
Don't say that. No, but thank you for bringing that up. I think that's an important point. Thank you for that. So yeah, I think the commitment shows through. Who wants to read spiritual transformation?
I can read it. A spiritual transformation. A message of liberation guides our ministry. We believe that when people are invited to experience God through the life and ministry of Christ, lives are transformed. Oh, revolution.
I feel like my life has been transformed by my interactions with all of you. For sure.
same here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm. Especially God.
yes.
So, where are our growing edges? Where do we need to look critically at what we're doing?
Mhm.
George?
I just looked at how many people we had ever attended Brunch Buddies, which is 200 people. And then I looked at the weekday prayer group, and it's 52. And I wish we could get more people on this type of thing. This only lasts an hour. The noon group only lasts half an hour to 45 minutes. Brunch Buddies, of course, Krager, I've heard you guys go on for hours. Virtual Brunch Buddies sometimes. But I think intimacy does happen when we meet. And if we can't, I mean, Brunch Buddies is in person, and we have our group there, and I love Brunch Buddies, and we meet at church, but like you guys said, hi, 10 minutes and that's it, you know? So when we have discussions, it's how can we get people to come to these things? I mean, how can we get people interested? Because we've got them at noon now, we've got them in the evening time, we've got some little fellowship groups. I mean, that's where I see maybe getting people on board to come out of their little shells and attend something like this. Because they're sure not coming in person. Not too much.
Jared and Leo?
I think what's missing, like Esther Perel says, right? She's the famous psychotherapist. What's missing is friction, because now with technology, we can send all the invitations, right? But if there's no friction to stop us and to talk to one another and say, hey, I've been attending God Talk for a year. It is an awesome, I guess, what is it? Online ministry. And just inviting people, like talking to them, but inviting them and adding that personal touch, because a lot of people see our advertising, but not necessarily do they feel like bought into to coming or anything like that. It's almost like me posting an invitation to my birthday party online and saying, hey, everybody's welcome, but I don't take the time to personally invite anyone, right? And I think that that's what's missing, that personal touch.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Wow.
how have you guys been processing what some of the things that have been, just the events of the past few weeks?
I got Bill.
Is it?
You mean like in the country?
Outside of church.
Or in the church?
I'll let you answer whichever way you heard that question. So,
I'm processing it from a standpoint of I don't think I have all the information I need to process it properly. So if I were a congregant with no God talk experience and no collective liberation experience and no nothing. Well, okay, if you were part of the collective liberation experience and you went because you felt compelled to go, for whatever reason in your heart you thought you should go. I thought we had a really good turnout. However, there are some things that have happened since then that if I were just a congregant, I wouldn't understand. And that those things appear to be disconnected, and the information from point A to point B is kind of lacking. So when we had a collective liberation event that was very large, well attended, how many people did we have, George, total? We had 13 online and what, 60 in person, something like that?
Yeah, 65.
So after that, there were a few things happening that in my perception of what we were doing were positive steps that were being taken by the people of the church. And I don't understand some of the communications that have come as a result of other communications. So there's communications happening, there's a disconnect. I don't know what happened to those people that did the collective liberation event. What are our next steps? I, it just feels really disconnected and like someone dropped a hot potato. So it doesn't feel like there was a smooth transition from collective liberation to what's next. Like what are we supposed to do now? We got the heart card thing going on. We got this happening. We got that happening. But what happened to collective liberation? Was the handoff, okay, we're going to do this thing here and, talk about it. But that didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Well, there certainly have been some ideas brought forward, but thank you for.
I don't
I
know
think
about them.
I think
I don't
that's
know about them because I
I think
wasn't part of the conversation.
okay. Thank you for encapsulating that, Jared and Leo.
I'm grieving, you know? I'm grieving. The Liam Gabriel has unfortunately left Excel Ministries due to the actions of the board of directors here at RMCC. Everybody knows and everybody's so sad about it, everybody that is in the Excel spaces. And so many of our congregants have experienced Excel and had so many wonderful times. There's been many other congregants that are currently drafting their resignation from this church, right? Because of the harm of the administration here. And, like I say, right, in this country, it is just a microcosm of what is happening in this country. I really hope, that we are able to move towards change rather than, like just a great migration away and then that's it, right? But it is so very sad. It's the amount of people that are experiencing these woes and that we are talking to in community with. I'm having to do the job of our pastor. The pastoral care is mine. That's what I've been doing. And that is not my responsibility. So we have a pastor that I'm, and that, this lack of care for the community, it's really, really hard. And so what I feel is grief. I feel so much grief for the people that I love. Yes, I still hang out with them. Yes, I still talk to them. Yes, I still interact with them. But the fact that they no longer feel safe at Resurrection Metropolitan Community Church, the fact that they feel like Resurrection did to them what their old churches did to them.
And it's also very confusing when the upper administration says, we're going to work together, right? Collectively. And we agree on it, right? We agreed to doing the work that Saturday for that workshop. And it's also very confusing when then they do the reverse, right? They talk about fear about our group that meets on Fridays. And it's like, we're not doing the horrible things that y'all say we're doing. Talking bad about white people.
There's more white people than people of color.
Saying lies about white people, right? And I'm like, there's 12 to 15 white people in that group. I'm probably the only Mexican that's there.
No, that's not true.
Well, 3 or whatever, right? But it's like upper administration says one thing, but their actions just reverse everything that they just said that they were going to do, right?
And behavior is the language.
And just hurtful, right? Because it's like, okay, we went and talked to someone because they were going to apologize. But it was very difficult going into that meeting, going for an apology, when the day prior a disheartening email was sent to our group, basically dismantling it, basically saying these horrible things of our group. And it's like, how genuine can this apology really be
if the actions don't measure up?
Yeah.
The one of the tools of any kind of oppression is to demonize and even dehumanize another group, and just to name a an us and them type of, to call out groups and create that kind of division. And it's really hard to bridge that, but um, I, I felt a little hopeless about bridging that this week, but and grieving along with you. Thank you both for sharing deep emotions. But I'm trying to hold out hope, because there is so much beautiful love and support in the group now. I'm not trying to rush on, but I know that Janice has not contributed, has not had as it's not spoken as much as some of us, so I want to make sure that Janice gets her time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna try really hard to choose my words carefully. Okay. I was angry when I found out what happened in September. I immediately called Pastor Candace in Florida. I cried, I yelled, and I screamed, "How dare we do that?" And I say we because I am that church. I have apologized to each one of those individuals for if I had anything to do with that, because what the church does reflects me. And I felt personally that I attacked them, even though I didn't, but I felt like I did, and it was so wrong. Okay. And yes, we've done all this work. We've all come together. But I don't understand how I think is something so simple to fix is, and I don't know if the word fix is right, and I apologize to y'all, but you know what I'm talking about. This should have been taken care of before now. And the people that we've lost, the people we lost last week, the people we lost this week, I'm very upset about. And the people that I know that are going to leave this church because of what has happened. I don't see anything good happening with RMCC anytime soon. My personal opinion is it's going to get worse. Okay. And what happened on Monday night's board meeting, I was furious. So I'm going to stop talking.
Thank you.
I am so embarrassed and upset with this church. It doesn't seem that that we matter. Any of us matter. Okay? And again, I'm going to try to choose my words. I'm just heartsick about what has gone on, and I just don't see them doing anything about it. I just feel like it gets getting shoved aside, and I'm going to stop.
Thank you for sharing, Janice. Thank you so much. Those were some deep emotions too, and I think you spoke very eloquently about how we. I think it's beautiful the way that you talked about just taking responsibility, that it's our church, and I think I have seen every one of you just really try to be the loving, caring example, and learn about oppressions, learn about ways to heal, ways to move forward. And I know that everyone in here has tried in one way or another, or many ways. And I love you all for that. And don't think that it has gone unnoticed, or even if it is, even if our efforts individually are just a drop in the bucket, together they matter. And we may not see the positive results that we want to see right away, or maybe never in the spaces we want to see the change in. But that doesn't mean they don't matter. Doesn't mean that everything that each of us are doing, it matters. George?
Okay. I've heard a lot of gossip because I wasn't in the original meeting. Okay. It's gossip from whoever gives it to you because they just hear stuff. I've seen a lot of stirring the pot. I've seen people not the ones that were oppressed. It sounds like people didn't get together. I'm really sad, really sad. I'm like with Carol, though, I have hope. I do have hope, but things haven't come together. Unfortunately, things have been said that was very, very hurtful on both sides. To me, it was hurtful because I couldn't get in that Friday night group because I was told I was unsafe and harmful. I had harmed people. And the Bible says if you have an issue with someone, go to that person and talk it out. And I'm the type of person, if I hurt you, I want to know. I don't want that to bleed and to fester and to other people to say, oh, now George did this, George did that. That's stirring the pot. Instead of going to me and saying, George, you did this to me. I mean, Janice has done that to me. Janice, you called me out and you said, George, I appreciate that. And I apologize. I don't want to be known as harmful and I don't want to be known as unsafe. But I understand where I could be in that position, but I want some direct action. And I hear stuff from both sides. And I love everybody here. And I love everybody in the church. You know that my heart is pure. I want us all to get together. And yes, we're going to lose people. And yes, they have to do their own thing. A lot of people don't like all this junk that's going on. And it's a mess. It is absolutely a mess. And I've been in this church over 30 years. And it's rough. And you know what's going on with the world and with our president? It sure doesn't help our mentality. It just does not help. When we see each day he puts down these people, he puts down these people, he makes fun of these people. I mean, where is our sense of love and being in fellowship when the people above us is always putting this in our face that we're not, everybody on here, we're not good enough because we're gay, we're black, we're Jewish, we're women, you know? We hear that every freaking day. And so what does our mindset trickle down to what we're doing? My prayers and my hope is that we come together. I was at the board meeting. Jared and Leo were at the board meeting. And I know they are earnest and wanting to get together and working together. And the wheels have been slow. I admit the wheels have been slow. And so I just ask for prayers and grace and mercy.
So you guys were at the board meeting Monday?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was on Zoom.
No.
Thank you. And one of the things that I want to point out, George, is just that when when the open invitation went out to the Friday meeting, you came to that, and we didn't see leadership. We didn't see other people that we really hoped would accept that invitation, and I just think that's a bridge building step that you took, and I just want to give you appreciation for that.
Carol, I want to learn. I want to be a better person. I want to know how to talk, what I'm saying. If it's wrong, teach me, educate me. I'm old. That's no excuse. But I have old ideas. I'm not saying I'm set in my ways, and I don't want to be. I want to be progressive. I want to be for all people. I really, really, really do.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. You guys, we've shared a lot here tonight, and
yeah.
I really appreciate all the vulnerability and the openness and the love and support of each other. And I hope that we can continue in those veins and keep going with our core values, with the love that we have in our hearts, and I mean that's got to be the incentive behind it all. Otherwise it's meaningless. So I thank you all for the work you're doing, and and yeah, um, uh, I'm I we're at the end of our time, and I don't want to. Anyway, I think this is just the beginning of a larger discussion, and I know we've kind of danced around a few things, but I think we did that in the spirit of love, so that we're not increasing the hurt, and maybe we can find loving ways to continue the work, to not be afraid to
Yeah.
call out injustice when we see it, but also to just remember the love. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but just keep our values in mind, and I know you all are very good at that. So I thank you for that. Um, I I wish I could think of a way to um, say something positive before moving forward, but I think we just need to hold each other's emotions and just hold each other in love between now and when we meet again. And I'm just going to ask Kreger to um, pray us out.
Holy Spirit, so here we are on God Talk, and we are sitting in it. We are sitting in it. We are sitting in it, and we're sitting in it. And we're trying to do so in a spirit of love, in a spirit of openness, in a spirit of just being able to really hear what is trying to be said. In this space, it seems pretty safe. In other spaces, not so much. But I guess the prayer for tonight is just healing, the willingness to do the work, and the willingness to get on with healing, because damage has been done. There's no doubt about that. So now it's about, where do we go from here? So we're going to keep praying about that and ask for those little whispers that you do in our ear, maybe guiding us to our next best step. And I think that's all we can really pray for right here and right now in this particular moment, is just help us to discern what is just the next thing that we can do besides pray. What is the next physical thing we can do? So we're going to leave it with you at that. And we're just grateful for everyone that came tonight and for the vulnerability of everything that was shared. These conversations are not easy. but they must occur. So we are grateful for the time and space to do so. And we thank you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Man, Gregor, I do want to mention that last Friday there was an extravagant generosity meeting, and that's where all the board was, and I was supposed to be,